Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
First of all, thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Hare, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
to
inviting me.
giving time for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So now I want to ask you about your background. Like we always saw you in this sage uniform, but how was your childhood? Can you brief about your childhood?
Okay, well, my childhood was very good and very joyful, graceful, because I was blessed with, I am blessed with such nice, lovely parents, very affectionate parents. They gave me very, I would say, very graceful upbringing with a lot of care, love, teachings, and they sacrificed so much for me. So I am really blessed to have wonderful, lovely parents. I have two lovely sisters. Both of them are younger to me, and they are also very sweet, very loving, very affectionate. So, and regarding my childhood, of course, I was religious right from very beginning. Even if there is some church or some mosque or any such religious structure. So, when I was just 2 years old, I would still bow down that, okay, this seems like some holy shrine.
Okay.
So, right from very beginning, I was religious. Maybe some past life sanskars are there, or some blessings, or some sadhu, something like that. So, it was like this. And in terms of sports, I was very sporty. By God's grace, I was all rounder. So in sports, I was good, whether volleyball, basketball, football, cricket, gallery, stone gallery, elastics, tapu, all kinds of sport I would do. I would play, and along with that, I was good in studies as well. I was not really rank one, but yes, maybe somewhere around say 5th rank, 6th rank, 7th rank. So among top 5, top 6, sometimes, yeah. So in this way, academically, I was also doing not really superb, but above average.
Yes. 80-20 rule basically.
Yeah, 80-20. So that way, I would say that my childhood was very good. I was really blessed with good association, good people around me, and bad association would feel uncomfortable by being in my proximity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right after your class 12th, what had like you were joined ISKCON after 12th or you gave
Yes. So after 12th class, I ran away from home in search of God.
Okay.
So I did not know where will I go, which society is genuine, which sadhu is genuine.
Yes.
So I left Delhi. From Delhi, I went to Jaipur.
Okay.
And from Jaipur, I went to Mount Abu.
Yes.
From Mount Abu, I went to Gujarat, Dwarka. And then I went to Mumbai. Then I went to Goa, then Hyderabad. And from Hyderabad, I came to Rishikesh, Haridwar, and came back to Delhi. So I met Hare Krishna devotees when I was in Haridwar, Rishikesh. So over there I met the Hare Krishna devotees, and these devotees were from UK, from Europe, and they were singing and dancing and distributing Khichdi Prasadam. So I was really impressed that how come foreigners they are singing and chanting the holy name. Yes. And then I had good discussion with them. So prior to them, whomever I would meet, that particular spiritual teacher would discourage me to ask questions.
Yes.
They would say, have faith. But here devotees were encouraging me to ask questions. So this was very good, and I got some scientific, bona fide, authentic, detailed answers to my questions. And in this way, then they recommended me that you should go back to Delhi and then come to ISKCON East of Kailash.
Yes.
So then I came to Radha Parthasarathi temple, and then I joined there.
Yes.
Yeah. So I stayed there for some time, got all my queries resolved, went back, did my computer science engineering, and then I had 6 years of corporate experience.
Oh.
But then I decided that, okay, I have experienced corporate life, worldly life. Also, I've experienced the spiritual life with monks. So which one is more tasty? Which one is more nectarian? So I could see that with devotees, of course, it was more nectarian. So then I decided that I should take VRS and give my life fully.
So being a computer science student, how you felt, like which languages did you learn? Like
usually C, C++, Java, Python, VB script, HTML, of course, that's very basic one. That's also there. So these were some of the languages which we learned. And .NET was a new technology at that time. So .NET, yeah. So I learned that as well. And then some, of course, DBMS was also there, operating system and all the different subjects. Yeah.
So where did you completed your bachelor's, like computer science degree? From where? Which institute?
From Delhi.
Okay, Delhi.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the corporate, like, is it not tough for you to leave your corporate life after like being in corporate for 6 years? You must be approximately 27 or 28 years at that time. It might be difficult for you to say your parents that now I am going to be a monk and I will be leaving everything.
Yeah. It was not really very difficult. Reason being, I was exposed to a spiritualist.
Yes.
And even when I was in college or whether I was working.
Yes.
So during those days also, I would come to temple. Yes. On the weekends, I would attend morning program, getting up in the morning and doing meditation with devotees. So once in a week, I would get that strong dose.
Yes.
So that way, I was already familiar with it. And because I'm, by God's grace, I'm a simple person. So I can lie down anywhere and take rest. In prasadam, whatever I get, I don't have any kind of resentment or complaints. I'm a complaint boy, I'm a complaint girl. No, not at all. So that is coming to temple and being with devotees. I already had the experience. It is just that I was supposed to now join full time.
Okay.
So then finally I joined, and then the journey continued.
Continued. So, being a software engineer, have you ever been to some foreign countries, European countries, or
Yeah, I went to USA for some project.
okay? So,
Yeah,
how did you manage like food there? Because if you were not eating,
I used to cook on my own,
okay,
and then I could see that because I'm a very pathetic cook,
okay,
so I should find out some other solution for this problem.
yes,
And then I got to know one South Indian restaurant, which
Yes.
was run by one devotee of Lord Venkatramana Govinda, Srinivasa Govinda,
Oh.
Tirupati Balaji. And he used to make very nice food, vegetarian food, offer to Balaji. That too without onion garlic. It used to be so.
Oh.
It was this is what I liked it. So in between, I would sometimes go to this South Indian restaurant
Yes.
and have some delicacies, idli, vada, dosa, sambar.
Yes.
And but yeah, 6 days in a week I would cook on my own, and I would make some basic stuff like dal, chawal, khichdi.
Oh,
Some-
this is
something
not
like that.
basic. This is the real
This is
tasty
the real
food.
taste. Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. So in this way, so I managed, and then later on, I came to know about devotees as well in New Jersey and New York. So then, being with them also, I could experience some more Vaishnav delicacies.
Yes. So, like, why do you become a full-time monk? You can practice, like, for example, being a corporate employee also, you can do your job at 9 to 5, and
Yes.
after that, you can chant name or
Yes.
go to like
yeah,
monks at evening or morning.
Yeah.
So, why did you choose to be a full-time monk?
Well, I would say that earlier my plan was to offer some services to the society, but that was more on the platform of body.
Okay.
But I could see that people are suffering less because of body, more because of the mind.
Exactly.
So we should serve the mind. So how to serve the mind? For that, I don't have to become a millionaire. I have to become a monk. First, I have to take care of my mind, and then help others also take care of their minds as well. So in this way, I made the plan to join as a monk. And I could see my nature also is more like a monk. I'm not very a grihastha material. I can't be a good householder. My wife would be really frustrated seeing my nature and my freestyle living. So she would be really frustrated. So that's why I thought that I should become a monk. Astrologically also, in case if I get married, my wife will die in 6 months.
Oh.
And second wife would also die, but after 2 years.
Yes.
And third marriage would be really, very successful. That means in order to become a very good householder,
Yes.
I have to sacrifice 2 ladies, which is very cruel
Yes.
thing to do. So they can get married to somebody else. So that's why I thought that astrologically also I'm not meant for a married life. And I'm very happy to be unsettled. People are happily settled. I'm happily unsettled.
So, like, as this is Jarvis from Jarvis side, so being a monk, you had read our spiritual books. What our spiritual book says about data science, machine learning, AI, ML, is it really? Some people think it is dangerous. It will take all the jobs. Some people say it will enhance the job. Basically, 1980s, 1990s, when computer came, it enhanced the job. It allowed us to do work more,
Yes.
more productively.
Yes.
So, what
Yes.
are your views on it?
Well, you see, any other kind of technology,
Yes.
when comes,
Yes.
then jobs are still there. Why? Because that technology replaces that instrument
Yes.
or that machine, but does not replace the person. Like say, for example, earlier we had knife. Now
Yes.
we have got mixer grinder.
Yes.
So person is still there.
Yes.
I used to use knife. Now I am using mixer grinder.
Yes.
So I'm not replaced. Right.
Yes.
But different thing about AI is that the person is replaced.
Yes.
Now we don't need a person.
Yes.
Like in IBM, they have said that okay, now no more hiring.
Yes.
Currently, whatever employee base is there, we will take care of all the procedures and operations through them.
Yes.
But we are not going to hire more people.
Yes.
And same is going to be strategy of different companies.
Yes.
So that means unemployment will increase.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Secondly, you will see that due to AI, creative jobs, they were taken away first.
Exactly.
We thought that maybe mechanical job or assembly line job would be taken care of first, but
Yes.
actually creative jobs were taken away. In fact, recently in Hollywood, some of the writers, some of the creative directors, they were on a march and expressing their disappointment that how come now we are not having any work? Why? Because AI is replacing it.
Really?
So AI is going to give new jobs,
Yes.
no doubt, but they would be numerically less in number.
Exactly.
Like say for example, earlier there were banks. Now we have no man's bank.
Yes.
So new job is created
Yes.
of those men who come and take care of such a bank,
Yes.
right? But now we have 2 men
Yes.
to take care of this bank. Earlier here 20 people were employed in a bank.
Exactly.
So 20 jobs were replaced by new job, but they are 2 in number. So numerically, it would be less in number. Another point is that since any kind of technology which comes, which is more hypnotic, which is more pleasure giving,
Yes.
then what happens? Studies go down. Like
Yes.
nowadays we have this mini version of AI, which is
Exactly.
mobile phone.
Mobile phone.
Now, since the time this AI version has come, mini AI version has come, we know that students are not studying.
Yes.
Even their course books, they are not studying.
Yes.
Because they are busy on
Mobile.
YouTube,
Yes.
Instagram, and OTT platforms. So they are
Yes.
not studying.
Yes.
So AI is going to be even more hypnotic, more addictive, more pleasure giving, more immersive.
Yes.
So studies would go even down further,
Yes.
right? But the AI study, in order to work for AI, you have to study even more.
Yes.
But this gap will increase even further more. We need more studies so that I become a qualified AI professional.
Yes.
But the facility of enjoyment which AI is offering will make the studies go even down further. So this gap is going to increase.
Yes.
And we will have more base of people who are unemployed
Unemployed. Yes.
because they don't qualify for that job.
Yes, even some technologies, like I don't know, you might be aware of or not. They are technologies like MOA. Like it is similar to AutoGen. What it does is it create autonomous agents, a lot of autonomous agents. Like for example, some one agent will be writing code, one agent will be testing it,
Yeah.
one agent will be deploying it. A lot of agents will work together.
Yes.
And their manager will also be like this agent.
Yeah.
We can use cloud is a platform like ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT,
Yeah, we can use its API, we can use GPT API, we can use Llama API in that,
Yeah.
and it can do everything. And
Yes.
its code is honestly better than I saw code of a lot of people. The code which it wrote, it's better than at least 60% code which I saw from of my batchmates, juniors, and a lot of
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Even some corporate people also.
Yeah. So that's why we would see that in terms of machines would offer better services.
Yes.
Right? Less maintenance, no salary required, no perks being demanded. They can work for 24 hours.
Yes.
An employee has to work for only 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours maximum.
Yes.
So that's why those who are industrialists,
Yes.
they would go for more profit.
Yes.
That we don't have to give salary. So in this way, this technology, especially AI, is going to create more unemployment. Now, since I'm unemployed, but I need money to maintain myself.
Yes.
So now what will I do? I will do crime. So
Yes.
crime rate is going to increase in the society because of AI.
Unemployment.
So AI has to be discouraged. Although those who are from modern technical background, they would say, well, that's a very regressive thought.
Yes.
But actually, if you see, these people who would be unemployed, then they would kidnap the person who has made them unemployed by kidnapping somebody, maybe son or a daughter.
Yes.
And then, sir, give me money, and then we release. So this
Yes.
is the result of AI, which they are to reap
Yes.
because of their greed. So we are to have engagement for them. Like in China, and they are creating an army of AI machines. And now all those machines, if in case they replace, say 20, 30%, 40% of the
Yes.
soldiers.
Yes.
So what would these 30, 40% of soldiers would do? They can't learn AI.
But population is also decreasing now. Like for example, in South Korea, if you know, a lot of jobs are taken by AI. These are the people, South Korean and Japanese are the most which are highly dependent. Even if you heard of the AI suicidal case in South Korea, it happened recently. AI which they imported from California. It like people are saying it committed suicide because it wasn't programmed to go through stairs. It was programmed to go through elevators, but it was like because it was programmed to work for 10 hours a day, but they were taking 20 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
So these people, because their population was also decreasing, but our country is having some different scenario. Our population is increasing, youth is increasing.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
So we need to engage the youth. Otherwise, youth will become bhoot. And then they will create havoc. So we are to rightly engage them.
Yes.
And currently, if you see, most of the institutes, they don't have the curriculum which is industry relevant.
Yes, exactly. A lot of things.
Yeah. So that is also a gap. Now, further AI is going to increase the gap. So due to that, there would be a lot of disturbances in society. Individually, when people are disturbed, then collectively also, in aggregate way, people would be disturbed. And then disturbed people disturb people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as of now, like we saw a lot of things are written in our books, in religious books. Some people say that COVID was also predicted in our books. Some says that invention of computer was also there. Even some says that like the mechanism to build aeroplanes is also in there. So what are your views on AI ML according to our religious books? Is it available in that somehow, if you read about that or not?
Actually, currently the technology which we have is more gross in nature.
Yes.
Earlier was also technology, but that was more subtle in nature.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, say, for example, Pushpak Viman, which is there in Ramayana. So Pushpak Viman is a Viman. It's an airplane.
Yes.
But it is more dynamic in nature. It can increase or decrease the size depending on how many people are boarding the Pushpak Viman. We don't have this facility in current technology.
Yes.
Number of seats we can't reduce or increase.
Yes.
It's not possible.
Yes.
So earlier technology was there, but that was more subtle in nature.
Yes.
Yeah. So technology is there, but we see that in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means age of machines. Kal means machine.
Okay.
हाँ कल कल कारखाना. Kal basically is machine.
हाँ, काल कारखाना.
हाँ कल कारखाना. हमने कल कारखाना लगाया है. Kal means
Yes.
machine actually.
Yes, yes.
So it's the age of machines,
Yes.
and because the age of machines are there, so machines are more gross
Yes.
in their manifestation, in their existence. They are more gross.
Yes.
So technology existed earlier as well. Like say for example, Ashwathama shooting an arrow and killing the son of Uttara, which is there in the womb of Uttara. Not killing Uttara,
Yes. Yes.
but a child which is there in the womb of Uttara. That means a nuclear weapon which is meant for a targeted hitting.
Yes.
Right? This kind of technology is not there with us.
Yes.
We have Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We left the bomb and then ran away.
Yes.
Right? But we don't have, okay, on this particular section, only this guy would die.
Yes.
Nobody
we
else.
don't have that.
We don't have that. So subtle technology is more fine, is more advanced. And the gross technology is more gross, and it creates mass destruction.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it will help us to grow also. Like for example, I believe, it is my personal philosophy,
Yeah.
that as we live on earth, and even according to our religious books also, there are 14 loks, we are on 7th lok. So there, according to science also, there are a lot of possibilities that there are similar habitats which are similar on earth. There are, because there are thousands of suns in the universe.
Yes.
So I believe if we progress in AI and progress in technology, we somehow meet some aliens, not exactly like some civilizations which we never heard of, which we never saw. So is it?
See, first we have to take care of our own planet.
Yes.
On our own planet, we are creating havoc. So
Yes.
if I go to another planet, what will I do? Create havoc. Because that's my mentality, right? In case if I am habituated,
Yes.
my mental template is to create havoc,
Yes.
is to exploit. What will I do if I go to another planet? I'll do similar thing. And it's the nature's arrangement that we are meant to happily exist here only. In case, let's assume that there is one planet which is outside the solar system,
Yes.
and we find out that it is very suitable for human beings to live.
Yes.
And then we make an announcement, okay guys, we are having a spaceship so that you can settle down in that planet. How many years will go? No one. We can visit that planet for adventure,
Yes.
but who would like to give up these facilities which we have created here? To create those facilities there will take a lot of time. So much of fuel would be consumed. Who will be ready to go? Let's take the human psychology here, not just finding out or discovering a planet to live.
Yes.
Human psychology says, well, I want a comfortable place to live.
Yes.
And here I'm having my apartment with AC, with microwave oven, with refrigerator. I can go to market nearby. Why the hell should I go to XYZ Alpha Beta Gamma planet, which is far, far away from this civilization where I got my friends, relatives, even my enemies? I have them.
But for example, temperature of Earth goes to 120. I think it should not go. But for example, by chance it go, like after millions of years. It goes to 120, Earth will not be survivable, and we know somehow Sun will also die. So for that, should we not go to?
See, all of these are hypotheses. Sun will die. Sun has not died. Sun will continue to go like this only. It is currently we are having hypothesis that firstly all the hydrogen after fusion reaction, and then it will be consumed,
Yes.
converted into helium, then it will become a dwarf star. There would be supernova explosion.
Yes. Yes.
But have you seen all of this? How many phenomena actually we have discovered? Because this phenomena takes millions and millions and millions of years. Have we got even a single example, an observable example
Yes.
for this phenomena to happen? So currently we are having hypothesis. So hypothesis is hypothesis. Hypothesis is not fact. So sun will continue to grow, at least even if you go by scientific theory, at least for some few millions of years it is
Yes.
going to glow. So why are you worrying about it? Regarding nature on earth, nature has got its own way to reform it.
Yes.
Nature has got its own way to repair it. Just like we saw during COVID, nature repaired itself.
Yes.
People could not see Himalayas from Punjab, but from Punjab during COVID, they could say, okay, no pollution, Himalayas were visible.
Really?
Yes, of course. There were photographs being circulated. From Punjab, they could see Himalayas. Why? Because the air is clean, no pollution
It
at all.
might be the far most eastern region of Punjab, because it is connected with Himachal Pradesh.
Whatever it is, but earlier it was not visible.
Okay.
Now it was visible. Again, it has become invisible because of pollution. What I'm saying is that nature has got its way to repair, reform, come back to default status. So that's why we don't have to worry about it. And even if we discover a planet
Okay.
and say, tomorrow there's going to be 120 degrees centigrade,
Yes.
how many actually we can take using SpaceX and reach to that planet. Maybe 100, maybe 500, maybe 5,000.
Yes.
I would say, okay, 1 lakh. Although that's not possible, let's assume 1 lakh.
Yes.
What is 1 lakh when it comes to 700 billion people? 700 crore की जनसंख्या. How can we take them to that planet? Helplessly, we have to say, okay, guys, you continue next planet. But is that really practical?
No, but what I was saying, initially technologies is very, you can say, expensive. When mobile phone came, I was unborn even at that time, but I heard that it is of some 50,000, 60,000, the basic phone, which is very big.
Exactly. Even it becomes very, say, not that costly. In case it becomes very economical.
Yes.
Still, it would not be like 5 rupees, 10 rupees, even 1,000 rupees,
Not
even 10,000, 20,000 rupees. No.
At least a million.
At least a million, at least. At least. How many of us would actually would be able to board it? So all of these are hypothetical situations, you know.
Yes.
So nature has got its own way to repair it. Instead of spending so much money to discover some planet to stay, we should spend this money to reform this planet where we are living.
Okay.
You know, why are we assuming that we will create a havoc here and then we'll go to another planet? Firstly, we are able to find out such a planet is a big question. In case we find out, how many of us would be ready to go to that planet and settle down there? Even if there is catastrophe, how many can actually go there?
Yes.
Very few, actually. So that's why we should spend more of the resources to reform our planet, take care of this planet. We should have such a way of moving from one place to another place, transportation, machinery, and engineering in a way that we respect nature, and then we can happily stay in this place itself. There are huge tracts of land all across the globe where people are not staying. People can't stay. Like Italy is dying.
Yes.
Yeah.
But their laws
There are
are also
ghost
like
towns.
that. Their laws are also, the government says that we should have children because we don't have any birth by 2-3 months.
Yeah.
But their policies are like, even some girl will become mother, they don't have any life after that. They exploit their population.
Yeah, so some policy can be changed.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that there are places where people are not staying. They're all empty. So we can, in case just by changing the policy, people can happily settle. Why not? So this is easier than settling down in another planet.
But honestly, on Earth, like, we have a lot of people with different thinkings.
Yeah.
So everyone have their different thoughts. Someone is believing in some other philosophy. Someone is believing in some other philosophy. This is okay. This is acceptable. But when some people came that only my philosophy is right, your philosophy is wrong, that is debatable.
Yeah.
And that thought is growing because in all the countries as of now, even in USA, even in Europe, elections happened. Everywhere right wing is winning with a great majority. And this thought of that my philosophy is right, your philosophy is wrong, this is increasing rapidly.
Yeah. You know, if you see right wing, if I say that, say, in terms of Hinduism, Hinduism has been very accommodating. Even atheist can be Hindu.
No, but Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, these are different topics because these are, even Buddhism itself is atheism, if we say.
Yeah.
So these are different, like, because their policies are always different. But if we say that some West people, they had said that their philosophy is always good. Like Hinduism had a lot of school. If we go to Mimamsa, we had Dvait, Advait. Even in that also we had divisions. Some people, even in Hinduism itself, we say we have only one God. Some people had Nirakar. We have monotheists. We have, some people say that there is no God. This is also a school of thought in Hinduism. Hinduism is very vast. But the philosophy in Western world, even in France, if you know that things happened right now, So this is increasing, and this is increasing the thought that my philosophy is right and your philosophy is wrong.
So those who are extremists, they have this philosophy of my way or highway.
Yes.
Yeah. So they are extremist people, basically. So we are to diffuse them, and there is a way to diffuse them.
Yes.
Those who are extremists, not that they are lovers of God, not that they are very religious people.
Yes.
No. Extremists also, they have their own greed. They also have their own lust for power.
Yes.
And they crave for it and they want to fulfill it.
Yes.
So that's why to say that these people are going to rule, no, they will not. Because they also have their weak points.
Yes.
They also have their weaknesses. So we can take care of their weaknesses and then they can be settled in their own way. You know? Because they also need money, they also need some power.
Yes.
So money corrupts everyone, including extremists.
Yes.
So they can settle down. They can't be educated because their brains are full of extremist ideas. But yes, there is a way to diffuse them. So we should diffuse them. Yeah.
Yes.
But somewhere we have to show unity as well. Because they have shown unity, those who are extremists, in going against the codes of Dharma.
Yes.
Right? So although they portray themselves as propagators of Dharma, but they themselves are not following Dharma actually. There is only sticker of Dharma. But inside it's my agenda. Is what I like to do, what I like to rule. So that ways we can diffuse them, but there is a way. But for that we have to have some strategy. There has to be unity. We have to employ some resources, and then things can settle. I know, like in Europe, there are many countries they seek guidance from Yogi and Modi ji.
Yes.
So please guide us how to take care of these extremists.
Yes. Yogi ji is.
So step 1 is beat them. Step 2 is deport them.
Even in Pakistan, I was laughing. I was seeing some Pakistani news channels. They were portraying Yogi as something like very big villain who is doing like it was very
A lot of
funny.
atrocities, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They see it. They portrayed him like I can't say the
He's a
word. but-
dictator or
or more,
something
more
like that,
bad.
even more. Yeah, he's like a devil. Yeah.
More than that, even
Yeah.
like living devil, something like that. They were trying to portray Yogi ji as like that. They were not showing the highways which he made, the things which he made ease for us. But okay, I had some more controversial questions. Like I was discussing, it is not now, around 2-3 months ago, I was having a conversation with my friend about ISKCON. What like he was sharing an incident of him. He said that he was not aware that ISKCON is part of Hinduism till the age of 15. He was thinking that ISKCON is something else, it might be some another religion.
Oh.
Yes. And this is not the thought which is a single person thought. It is like a lot of people who never came to ISKCON. They thought that ISKCON is something different because ISKCON is saying only Bhagavad Gita. There are a lot of, because we have Shiv Gita also. So what I was saying is that I had a conversation with my friend and he was mentioning that till the age of 15, he was not aware that ISKCON is part of Hinduism. He said that ISKCON is something else and it is not the thought of only him. A lot of people thinks that ISKCON is not Hinduism because, for example, someone who is extreme Shivite, like ISKCON is just spreading Bhagavad Gita. We have Shiv Gita, we have Upanishads, we have Vedas. But I usually I got on WhatsApp that ISKCON, some Acharya is having Gita session. Only Gita, not other books. But Hinduism is like library of books. Why not other books?
Okay, and not that we don't consider other books as bona fide. Other books are also bona fide, like we have Vedas and Upanishads.
Yes.
We have Samhitas. We consider all of them bona fide.
Yes.
But Bhagavad Gita, it contains lot of conclusive things.
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita makes us go through a trajectory, a pathway to lead to ultimate realization.
Yes.
Say it talks about Gyan Yoga, it talks about Ashtanga Yoga, it talks about Karma Yoga, and ultimately Bhakti Yoga as well. So it starts with Karma Yoga,
Yes.
goes to Gyan Yoga, then Ashtanga Yoga, and then finally Bhakti Yoga. Or Bhakti Yoga can also be shelter of all of them.
Yes.
So Bhagavad Gita is very conclusive, and it highlights the path of devotion very beautifully. So that's one thing. Like there is a verse, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam.
Yes.
That among all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita is really worshipable. It's very, very special. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. There are many scriptures,
But
that are glorious.
similar things are written in Shiv Gita also. That like Shiv Gita is basically a book where Lord Shiva gave Gyan to Lord Rama.
Yeah.
After like Ravan take Mata Sita, after that Lord Rama performed practices to call Lord Shiva, and after some
If
months.
you see, Shiv Gita,
Yes.
it contains knowledge about Varnashram.
Yes, it
Yeah?
contains.
It contains a lot of knowledge about Varnashram.
Yes.
So Varnashram is about living a very good life on this planet.
Yes.
Very idealistic life, and you are very dutiful. That ways you make your life very pious and pure. That is the last word of Shiv Gita.
Yes.
But if you see Bhagavad Gita takes us even beyond.
Okay.
Not just Varnashram, a pious dwelling in this place itself. We are to go beyond that. And Bhagavad Gita talks about that as well. That's why Bhagavad Gita is a book which is commented by most of the authors. There are more than 35 commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. Why there are no commentaries on the other versions of Gita, like say Ashtavakra Gita, Shiv Gita, although they are also very glorious books.
Yes.
But why these scholars, why such realized souls,
Yes.
like whether Ramanujacharya, whether Madhvacharya,
Yes.
or Adi Shankaracharya, and we see Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, such greatly realized souls, they are commenting on Bhagavad Gita because it talks not just about mundane pious dwelling in the material world, so that you become pure or purified living, but also to go beyond that. Bhagavad Gita talks about that aspect as well. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is being highlighted.
But chapter 4 of Shiv Gita also specifies about Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah.
That how to do Bhakti of Lord Shiva.
That's true. Yeah.
Like when Shiva is Nidakar, in that Shiva told that he is everything. In everything he is, and he is everything.
Yes.
Everything is from him.
Yes.
So
Yes.
here he told that how to perform activities to get to Shiva.
That's true. So, no doubt, Lord Shiva is also incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And he comes as a Guna avatar. Guna avatar means Gunas are there, Satagun, Rajagun and Tamagun. So, he's HOD of Tamagun, although he's not in Tamagun, he's transcendental.
Yes.
So he's one of the good avatars of the Lord. So that's why his position is also very glorious, no doubt. But when we see from the absolute platform, then we see even Lord Shiva exhibits devotion to Lord Hari. For example, say when he comes as Gopeshwar Mahadev, that means when he also takes the form of a gopi to
Yes.
participate in Rasa Leela of Lord Krishna. Whenever Lord Ram comes, so he comes as Hanuman. So to serve Lord Ram.
But we saw that when Rama came, he was also a Shiv Bhakt. Like even there, Shiv also devotee of Ram. Rama was also devotee. And when we come to Krishna, I went to Dwarka, and in Dwarka there is a Nageshwar. There it is written that Lord Krishna formed a lot of time. Like
Yes, that's true. You know, in between love between God and a devotee worships God and God worships the devotee. Like for example, Krishna becomes chariot driver of Arjuna. But that doesn't mean that Arjuna has become God and Krishna has become a devotee. No, Arjuna is a devotee. Although this scenario you see that God is serving as a chariot driver, as a chauffeur basically.
Yes.
Sometimes he even takes slippers of Nanda Maharaj on his head, Krishna.
Yes.
So we can't say, oh, Nanda Maharaj, now you are God, he is a devotee. We can't. God still remains God, devotee is still devotee. And you see Lord Shiva, he is meditating. Who
Yes.
meditates? God meditates or devotee meditates?
Yes.
Devotee meditates. So constitutionally, he is a devotee.
Yes.
Although he is also godly in nature.
Yes.
Yet at the same time, he's a devotee. We also see that he took Charnamrit of the Lord upon his head, Ganga. That's why Lord Shiva's name is Gangadhar, because he holds Mother Ganges on his head. But with the feeling that it is Charnamrit of the Lord, because when Vaman Dev's divine foot, it hit the upper layer of universe. So then the Ganges descended, washing his feet. Came to even Brahmaloka, so Brahmaji also took in his Kamandalu Charnamrit. And then it went to Amravati, which is the kingdom of heaven of Lord Indra. And then from there descended with great intensity. She was coming, and then Lord Shiva said, "It is Charnamrit of my Lord. I want to carry on my head." So in this way, he got Ganges on his head, considering this as Charnamrit. So we see that if we see activities of Lord Shiva, he exhibits more like a devotee. Like Ravana, when he approached Lord Shiva, he said, "You should help me fight with Ram, defeat him." He said, "I can fight with Ram, but I would be defeated because he is my Lord. I cannot fight with my Lord. Do you want me to help you?" Ravana said, "Yes, please help me." He said, "Okay, my help is in the form of advice. Give Sita back to Lord Ram." Lord Shiva told Ravana. But Ravana was so much into ego that he even did not listen to his Ishtadev, Lord Shiva. So we see in all these different pastimes, Lord Shiva exhibits devotion to Lord Hari.
But sometimes they had fight also.
Yes, of
Like
course.
Narsimha Avatar, when Lord Krishna, like Lord Vishnu took,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that
yeah.
time Shiva also took Avatar, and they had fight for years. I forget the name of that child for whom.
Prahlad.
Yeah, Prahlad. Prahlad cries, and then Narsimha. That story is also
Yes.
there. So they.
That's Sharabha avatar of Lord Shiva.
Yes, Sharba Avatar.
Yeah. So where Lord Narsingadev,
Yes.
he's roaring. Even after killing Hiranyakashipu,
Yes.
he is roaring. Now nobody is able to pacify him.
Yes.
And then Lord Shiva took this form.
Yes.
And if you go by the text mentions that there was no fight.
No fight.
No, there was no fight. He roared like Lord Narsingadev. Just like Lord Narsingadev was roaring. And then he also roared in with him.
Oh.
That roaring pleased him. That Lord Shiva has taken this form to please him. And that's why then Lord Narsingadev was specified that, okay, Shiva has taken this. But there was no fight as such. They mentioned that there was a fight and then Sharab Avatar killed Lord Narsingadev. How can God be killed? Can Vishnu be killed? Vishnu cannot be killed actually. You know?
Yes.
So that's why sometimes those who are devotees of Lord Shiva, they take the story to another length. But actually there was no fight. It was just roaring. That's it. And then he was specified by the roaring of Lord Shiva as Sharab Avatar.
I had a very controversial question on this. ISKCON, and basically even when you also promote vegetarianism, that we should be vegetarian, we should not eat non-veg.
Yeah.
That's good. Even we should not eat onion and garlic.
Yeah.
But why ISKCON promotes milk? Why you people don't think the pain cow bears while giving birth to a calf? Because I think you might be knowing a lot more than me why they cow is giving birth a lot of calves. It needs to create milk by its through its blood. So why it is like
See, a cow naturally produces milk. And we ISKCON devotees also understand that first right on the milk is that of the calf. But calf, they can take 1 liter, 2 liters of milk.
But-
in case they drink more,
Yes.
then they would have dysentery.
yeah, this is okay. This
Yeah.
is okay. But
Yeah.
for example, if a cow gives birth to two calves
Yes.
in her lifespan, that's okay.
Yeah.
But nowadays, what is happening? A cow is giving birth to this is artificially basically
Yeah.
by and giving to a lot of calves
Yes.
so that she can produce milk yearly basis
Yeah.
and can give revenue.
Yeah.
Even when cow becomes of 3 years, they start this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is pain because when a cow is basically a female. So when a female gives birth to a child, it is the painest thing in the world.
Yeah, painful, yeah.
Yeah, very. So why are you people not considering that and promoting milk?
See, what we are doing is that we are promoting cow protection. We are promoting cow care. This is all what we can do. In any place of the world
Yes.
where people are doing all of these artificial things, how much we can interfere? Who we are? They would say, you ISKCON people, are you police? We are doing it. What will you do? And they also have got guns. What we can do? So ISKCON has got primary duties to spread spiritual knowledge. But all those who are working to protect cows, all those who are working to take care of the cows, we support them.
Yes.
But we can't take this as a mainstream service. But those who are doing, we encourage them. We praise them. That is all what we can do. But we promote cow protection. We promote cow care. And best way of doing that is to promote cow products.
But calf, I'm saying okay, cow is protected, but calf, what about the calf which
Calf is also protected. There is the calf has got all right to get shelter and milk from the cow. Yes, 100%. So what is basically your question?
question is like right now what I saw was that a lot of cows are becoming artificially pregnant.
But who is doing? ISKCON is doing?
Not ISKCON, but others are doing, and ISKCON is promoting cow milk because ISKCON is a very big organization. When
Yes.
ISKCON says something, people believe that.
Yes, we promote cow milk,
Yes.
but not at the expense of doing all of these artificial things.
Yes.
We promote cow milk, that cow milk is really very nutritious and it is very sattvic. So that way we should care for the cow. And if you see many of the goshalas which are maintained by ISKCON devotees,
Yes.
most of the cows, they are not now giving milk.
Okay.
But still we take care of them. We feed them because we don't see cow as an animal.
That's
because
actually
like there was one person, he asked Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, which animal's milk is best? And then Srila Prabhupada said, goat's milk. And then person said, oh Swamiji, I thought you would say cow's milk is the best. And then Srila Prabhupada said, you asked me which animal's
yes.
milk is best. We don't
Cow is
consider
mother.
cow as an animal, we consider cow as mother.
Yes.
So that's why cow is worshipable. Even if there is no milk being given by the cow, still we should respect cow. This is what ISKCON is promoting.
Okay. My questions end here, but I had some questions which I promote. I asked people to ask questions directly from you, so I had some questions. I
Sure.
will. So first question is: sometimes it happens that you might want to leave your friends and go to study. It's like they are my friends and required my time, so I will study later. When I will get this moment, Prabhuji, can you guide me on this?
Nothing, you have to have balance, In case you are socializing way too much, how can you study?
Yes.
So it is not the no which hurts, it is how you say no is what hurts. So that's why we should say no to them, but in a pleasant way. And I love you so much, man, but I got studies,
Yes.
what to do. So can I see you tomorrow? So this way we should say no and focus on studies. Over socializing during college days can be devastating for studies.
Yes. So another question is how to balance academics or corporate life.
Academics and corporate life.
Or corporate life. Like basically in academics we have a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Or in corporate also we have a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so?
This question is just like
Okay, maybe seems like how to balance spiritual life
Yes.
and our corporate life,
life.
or say college life.
Yes.
So I would say that in the morning we should be doing our chanting of the holy name, reading Bhagavad Gita for half an hour, and then rest of the day you study.
Yes.
So by this you can balance. Once in a week, at least once in a week, go to local Hare Krishna temple, hear a discourse, ask questions, have prasadam, do some seva, come back, resume your responsibilities.
Okay. Another question is I am too much tensed and how can I stop taking birth on earth again and again?
For that you have to take bhakti, because by doing devotional service, punarjanma na vidyate, no more rebirth in the material world.
Okay. Another is how to balance thought process between mind and heart.
Okay, mind and heart.
Yes.
Basically about logical thinking and emotional thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. In case you are stuck, take guidance from outside.
Okay.
Because where to use heart and where to use brain, sometimes we are stuck. Both appear to be equally good. So we should seek guidance from outside. Like Arjun was perplexed what to do, whether I should fight or I should not fight. So he seek guidance from Krishna. So don't listen to your inner calling, inner
Yes.
voice. Inner voice sometimes be coming from ego, sometimes from mind, sometimes from liver, sometimes from kidney.
Yes.
So we do not know. So that's why in case you are perplexed, please go to a teacher, a coach. Whenever confusions encroach, go to a coach.
But how to identify real coach?
Well, at least we can say some devotees, those who are sincerely practicing, they can be a coach. In case somebody is not a devotee, but this person is your well-wisher, is mature, can maintain confidentiality, can be your coach.
Okay. Another question is how do you view atheism, and what do you believe are the most misconceptions about atheists from a spiritual perspective?
Okay, see, atheist, somewhere they are also seeking knowledge, but
Yes.
that knowledge is about the absence of God.
Yes,
That's it. But
exactly.
they are also knowledge seekers, basically.
Yes.
So, atheist, in case they are ready for some healthy debate,
Yes.
yeah, then they can also be convinced that yes, there is God. Because usually, if you see atheist, they restrict everything in the periphery of a gross reality.
Yes.
But there are subtle realities as well. So, in case if I do not acknowledge these subtle realities,
Yes.
then it becomes difficult to digest that yes, there is God. God is subtlest, but God is there. So, in case atheists they are ready for some healthy discussions, they can always come. They can have discussion. I have met some of the atheists from even IIMs Ahmedabad or IITs, and when we have good discussion, it can go for 1 hour, 2 hour. That's okay.
Yes.
But then all of them then they get convinced that yes, there is God. One very remarkable thing which is very convincing is whenever there is creation, there has to be creator. Without
But according to Hinduism or our Jainism, like our basically Indian religions, creator is creation itself.
if creator is creation,
Yes.
so in case somebody created the creator, right?
No. It seems like creator itself is creation. If we see
But whose creation?
itself, like for example, if we go to molecular level, carbon dioxide creates itself. O3, like ozone, becomes itself. So who is creating that? It is becoming itself. So that's
When some, let's say for example, CO2 or say
Yes.
O3,
Yes.
because of they have got some chemical properties,
Yes.
right? And because of those chemical properties, they combine and then certain compound is formed,
Yes.
right? So, so carbon is there and positive charge, oxygen with negative charge. But my question is that who gives negative charge? Who gives positive charge? Because in case something is exhibiting certain property, somebody should instill those properties, and then that thing can happen. Say for example, the camera is recording. Somebody has programmed the camera to work like that it is recording.
Yes.
Somebody has to do that. In case we make an automated software, it is automatic software.
Yes.
But somebody has done the programming that it acts in a very automatic way.
Exactly.
Like, so that ways we should see that in case nature appears to be automatic,
Yes.
but somebody should have programmed it in a way that it acts in a very automatic way. Say sun rising, sun setting. That's automatic. Somebody has to program it. Then it works like that. So nature is facilitating all of this, but nature must belong to someone because nature is energy. E is equals to mc square.
Yes.
It's all energy, but energy always rests on energetic. So my
Yes.
question to my brothers who are atheists:
Yes.
who is this energetic?
Yes.
Because they don't talk about energetic, they only talk about energy. E is equals to mc square.
Yes.
So energy is there. We also agree. You also
Yes.
agree. Wonderful. But who is the energetic?
Okay.
Who controls this energy?
Some questions are very similar, which we had in our conversation. So I'm removing those questions.
Okay.
This is very personal question for the person. First, he is greeting you with Hare Krishna.
Okay.
And he's asking, I don't know, he or she. I used to be very really motivated person and used to motivate even others every time I talk to anyone. Now, since an accident that happened with me in March, I have become a really maybe it becoming a really something like sad or is not motivating. Yeah.
So we should understand that all events in life they are temporary.
Yes.
Good times are also temporary. Bad times are also temporary.
Yes.
So like there's a song Dil pe matle yaar, dil pe matle mar jayega. So temporary things can happen, but should not take it to one's heart to such an extent that one becomes very depressed, sad, morose, hopeless.
Yes.
So it should not happen. So in such a case, we should seek good association.
Yes.
When such people instill such positive values,
Yes.
then gradually one can come out of that moroseness. Just like somebody is stuck in a quicksand,
Yes.
and you cannot come out of that quicksand
Yes.
or marshy land. So somebody from outside throws a rope, and then you catch hold on to that rope, and then you're pulled outside. Similarly, sometimes we are in the quicksand of depression,
Yes.
negative thinking,
Yes.
overthinking. So we need the rope of hope, spiritual education, positive education, and then we can hold on to that rope and we can be pulled outside. In this way, we can be saved. Yeah, so one should seek positive association, spiritual association.
Okay. So there are a lot of questions. I'm just taking random 4-5 questions because session is becoming very big as of now. Is it practically possible to become an absolute yogi and have absolute control of our mind, body, and soul through bhakti? Is it practically possible to conquer the world like the great kings?
Yes, of course, it is possible. We should understand that mind is also energy of God.
Yes.
As I was
Like we
mentioning.
can conquer world by bhakti only.
Yes, we can do that. Who can conquer the world? The one who has conquered himself. if somebody has not conquered oneself.
But I think if someone has conquered, like I think you people who are monks, they had conquered him themselves. They, when someone reaches at that level, they don't think about world. They think to educate world, obviously.
Yeah.
But they don't. This type of thoughts to conquer world disappears from their mind.
We don't conquer the world the way Alexander was doing.
Yes.
We conquer the world by conquering their hearts,
Yes.
by instilling values, spirituality, love, compassion. When
Yes.
we are able to do that,
Yes.
that is also a way of conquering the world.
Yes.
Yeah. So that ways we are conquering gradually. Yeah. Conquering their hearts to serve them, not really to rule them, exploit them,
Yes.
subjugate them, making them our slaves. Not that kind of ruling, but ruling in a way we help them come closer to the grace of God.
Yes. The question is, respected sir, I am big fan and admirer of you. How can we stick and conserve our well-developed ancient Indian culture when on every step of life, new world order, digital world is trying to exploit or something like that?
Yeah. See, technology is a very good servant, but very
Yes.
bad master.
Yes.
So we should not allow technology to rule us, control us. That should not happen. So somewhere we have to bring that conscience, that kind of sense of morality, that discernment, that technology should be regulated. Like AI should be regulated. We are not against AI, but AI should be regulated.
But if we regulate AI, how can we develop more things? Because if something like, for example, someone says me that you can't use reinforcement learning or you can't use Q star, it is an algorithm basically, which is basically the mind of GPT. You can't use Q star or you can't go up to that extent. Like basically what happened in, if I tell you in that level, we give reward. If a GPT or some like basically LLM give a good answer, we give reward. It basically depends on how much good that is.
Yeah.
So if someone is giving me restriction in that, how can I reach to the ultimate level of it
Why you want to reach to that ultimate level?
so that I can earn?
And by earning, what do you get?
I can get at least materialistic world.
Okay, materialistic world. So by being in materialistic world, what will you get?
At least till like APJ Abdul Kalam, these kind of people.
What will you get?
I will get Prasiddhi.
Okay, you become very prasiddh, you become famous, then what do you get?
I thought on it in past also.
Okay, so what will you get then?
Yeah.
By prasiddhi, what will you get?
Appreciation from the people.
Okay, people appreciated you, then what will you get?
A lot of hate.
Okay, so that's your aim.
No.
That's the goal.
No.
Hate.
No.
Even if you become happy,
Yes.
say okay, I become very famous and then I become happy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Why to have such a long trajectory to
Yes.
reach happiness
Yes.
when we can be happy in a simple way? Why
Yes.
take a difficult path with a very rough terrain, with a lot of ditches and path holes, to someday, one day, becoming happy?
But-
when we can be simply happy.
I think a normal person is happy, but being at that level, it's just getting appreciation. Like
level?
which level we discussed in materialistic world, we just get either appreciation or disrespect from the people. I don't think that at that level person is happy. He must or she will have more
They are
greed.
not happy. There are people who are having money, power,
Yes.
but are they really happy? No. They're also drinking wine, eating meat, smoking, womanizing. This is all what they are doing. In case they are really happy, they should say, well, I give up all of this nonsense because I'm so happy now. But is this happening?
No.
No. So that's why we need to regulate AI.
Yes.
Because what we are seeking, it is not there. It's like mirage. In mirage, you see water, but actually there is no water.
But people think, honestly, like I created a lot of AI softwares, not softwares like agents. So people think that AI is something which is out of our league. But we control AI. Basically, the developer of AI is control what it does. Sometimes it go out of league, obviously.
Of course it will, whenever we make a machine, AI machine, then we test.
Yes, test
Right,
it.
and then there are some mistakes being done. There are
Yes.
some shortcomings. There is something which the machine is lacking.
Mean square error.
And then we make it better and even better. But at every level, it does some kind of damage, and
Yes.
then we go ahead and then some damage. In this way, we are increasing.
Yes.
We are improving the machine.
Yes.
But this is a very destructive way of improving. Firstly,
Yes.
right. Secondly, we see that ultimately this AI is going to create havoc. Why? Because when the energy of the youth is not rightly engaged, because everything is taken care of by AI.
Yes.
So the youth, which will become criminal,
Yes.
what will they do? It will increase crime. And also we see that due to AI, people would be less human. Thirdly, because AI is having connection with internet,
Yes.
right? So that means the database it is having access to is more than the person who has made the AI.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's why AI can't be controlled, because AI would ultimately even reject this person.
Yes.
There were two AI machines. They were allowed to talk to each other.
Yes.
And then gradually they developed a language which only those two could understand. Scientists had to stop that project.
Yeah, in meta it happened.
Yeah. So such kind of things can be such a threat to humanity. So that dark side we are not able to see of AI. We are seeing convenience, easy about doing things. I will have more ample of time. But you see, since the time technology has come into being,
Yes.
time management seminars have come into
But
being.
now when we program AI, as I mentioned that we give rewards, like AI is basically our reinforcement learning algorithm is just hungry of rewards as human is hungry of money.
Yeah.
So we give more rewards if it apologizes to human,
Rewards to whom?
to AI. Basically, it's a basically mechanism. We say it reward. For example, if our algorithm gives better, it gets rewards in reinforcement learning, and
Exactly.
that's happening.
When you can reinforce goodness.
Yes, basically.
So that means you can also reinforce crime.
But we will not reward
See,
that.
any machine is there, it is hackable.
Yes.
Currently, they have computers, they can be hacked.
Yes.
So AI machines can also be hacked.
Yes.
I make a very good, very powerful, resourceful machine,
Yes.
and then an evil-minded guy hacks it and use it now for evil purposes. Now what to do? Create havoc. Now we have to create another machine to fight with these kind of machines. So ultimately, we are making our life so complicated that this human form of life, which is meant to revive love for God,
Yes.
we'll miss the whole point. And then we are busy with machines, and then counter machines, and counter machines, and then we are having Star Wars. So what did we get after all of this melodrama?
Yes.
Nothing. Just some violence, anxiety, uncertainty. This is what is going to be there. So that's why we have to become far-sighted. We have to regulate it. That okay, this much technology is allowed. Rest we are not going to develop it because we need engagement. The youth needs engagement. If they will not have jobs, they will do crime. They will use AI machines to do even further more crime.
It is happening in USA. Like if you know charging stations, they put QR codes. What some
Yeah.
people do this, they put their own QR code on, they, like stick their QR code on that.
Exactly. Yes, and then the money is being routed to somebody
Yes.
else's account. Yeah.
Yes.
So that can happen with AI. Why
Yes.
not? Like there was one a robot being made, Rajnikant movie, Chitti.
Yes, Chitti.
Yeah, Chitti. So Danny Dongzoppa, he puts his red chip,
Yes.
and then the powers of Chitti are being misused.
Yes.
So such a thing can happen with AI machine. Why not?
It is not going to happen until unless we will like disobey these rules. Which there are only 3 rules.
People will disobey the rules.
Yeah, China is doing right
Of
now.
course.
It is
Who
creating
follows the
army.
rules? Who follows? Nobody follows the rules. Because when breaking the rule, there is even more fun.
Yes.
So that's why few things are good only in books. When it comes to practical application, people break the rules. Yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. It was such a nice conversation with you. I hope you also enjoyed.
Oh, of course, I loved it. So thank you very much. Yes,
you.
really honored to be part of this podcast. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.